everybody, welcome back to the studio for our March recap of our 100 blocks in 2025 video. I want to talk to you about the blocks that we managed to get through in our shorts this month, inspiration for why we're doing this project, how I see the end results of the quilt going, and a couple more tools, tips, tricks, those types of things that'll help you through your journey. So I hope you'll stick around. Let's talk about the blocks in 2025. Hey everyone, I'm super excited you stuck around for this video, and based on the feedback in the comments, I see you're really liking working on the project for 2025. So how do we get started on this? Well, you know that as a designer, when you take a lovely hobby like quilting and you turn it into a job, that's exactly what it becomes after a while. Designing and coming up with new creative ways to do things, and getting them out into the market can be a really tough job. So sometimes as a designer, it's really nice to take a mental break from all of that and just work on somebody else's project. So in 2024, I had such fun working on the cottage temperature quilt, which we did a film on, and also the pixel quilt, which we just released. I really like the idea of using up my staff. I am writing a new book. My first book was in 2011, and between then and 2014, I wrote 3 books on scrap quilting called All Scrapped Out. So here it is 10 years later, and I started working on another new book for the All Scrapped Out series. So I'm working on that. And so being able to utilize my scraps and getting back into my stash fabrics and all of that helps me be creative to get things out for the new book. I needed January and February to think about what I wanted to do as a new series for this year. The great part about starting this 100 blocks of 2025 in March, that means that we've got 10 months left in the year to get that done by our deadline at the end of 2025. The math is really easy. That means we have to make, on average, 10 blocks a month. Now, you're gonna look behind me and see that we made 6 blocks last month, so we're 4 behind. That's okay. We also ran a February retreat, a March retreat, and we're getting our plan together for our April retreat this year before we get a break. There's been a lot of travel in there. There's been a lot of projects in there. So, I don't put a lot of crazy pressure on myself to make sure that I'm always following things. I make a plan. My plan is average of 10. I didn't make it this month. That's okay. I'm not beating myself up over it. We released these as shorts. We're new to shorts. Saw that there were a few lighting issues this year. Thank you guys for those of you who gave us constructive feedback. This video, which is a long format video, will give you a good view of all of the blocks with our regular lighting, so you'll be able to see them a little bit better. And we'll just go through what we did and what we used, and also some other things. So let's get started on the block. So this month of March, we only got into 2 books. We did, I think, 3 from this book and 3 from this book. So let's start with block number 1. Now our block number 1 in Tula's book was right here on page 20. It's her block number 5. This is her 100 blocks modern quilt book again. Remember, I told you I was going to use my scraps. So I did use a lot of fabrics that were left over from both the pixel quilt and the temperature quilt. Now in this case, I had these 4 half square triangles left over, which were exactly 2.5 inches left over from my block. So in her case, she had these 4 squares on the outside with the strip set through the center. I chose to do something slightly different so I could utilize my half square triangle block. So I used the pinks and the reds out of that group, went into my stash, found this little piece of stripe and this one that were both in the red family, and that's what we're going to use. So this one is all complete scrap. And then you'll notice in the video what I actually did, instead of cutting, in this case, it would have been a 1.5 inch strip and a 1.5 inch strip that were longer, and I could get out of that strip set a 6.5 inch and 2 2.5 inch to make that part of the block. I didn't have strips or strings in my scrap bin that were exactly that width, so I just sewed these 2 pieces together. And then what I did is, because this end block needed to be 2.5 inches, I put my 1 1/4 mark, which is halfway in between, right down through the center seam, and I trimmed one side, turned it around, and trimmed the other. And that was my very easy, quick way of getting those strip sets done so that I didn't have to stand and cut a bunch of extra fabric. So if you can do that, do that. It makes sense. So that's why when I pull these patterns out, some of them we're going to do exactly as it shows in the book, and some are going to be inspiration. So in this case, it was an inspiration, and I went ahead and used what I had to finish up that block, and I think it turned out really great. And obviously, if you didn't get a chance to see exactly what I was doing, you can head back over to YouTube and find them all on a playlist, and some of them came out as videos and some came out as shorts. Again, we're learning, so you can check them all out there. They're numbered. Our block 2 came from the back of the book this time, page 204. This was Tula's number 92, so almost at the 100. And let's talk about this one. This one actually is my least favorite of the one that I did, and it's really all because of contrast. So I actually went ahead and, let's show you a close-up version. I actually went ahead and cut this exactly as Tula had in her pattern book, with all the tiny little strips. Let's look at this overhead again. You see I have a little strip here, and then a little bit wider, longer strip, and then a fatter, shorter strip, and then another one here. And then it mimics the same thing in the other side in a different color, or in this case, in a different value of that color. So if you're looking here, I actually cut all of the parts to size from my scrap pieces from the temperature quilt. And honestly, I'm just really disappointed because they were all about the same value of red. So from this distance, it kind of almost looks like I put a focus fabric in the center and I just put a red border around the outside. So I'm a little disappointed at that. And the sad part is if I had taken this like dark teal, light teal version, or if I had done, say, red and orange, or if I had done dark green, light green, I think, or even green and yellow, I would have much more enjoyed or much preferred that, because I went to a lot of work to cut all those little pieces and little strips, and you can't see them. So the block itself was fine. I didn't mind cutting all the little parts. I will probably make this one again, not so I can throw this red one out, but because I think I'm just going to like it a little bit better, and I want to showcase what the block is a little bit better. So this one, it's just a cautionary tale for you. I'm keeping it. It's a great block, but just a cautionary tale for you. If you want all of your efforts to be rewarded, use some value change or some color change. Block 3 is in a different book. We're going to go over here to The Farmer's Wife and go to our block 3. And it's called The Wrench. It's on page 238. It's block number 111. I'm actually super fond of the wrench block, or, you know, whether they call it monkey wrench or wrench, whatever. It's one of my favorites. So this block, this was one that it was very hard to see because of the lighting of the video. But this one, my center square and the half square triangles on the outside were all done from squares left over from the temperature quilt. I also managed to do this. I had a strip and I cut a skinnier part to make a strip set with this extra multicolored fabric that I had to sort of tie it all together. So I used the cooler versions of these. I only had like one half square triangle of each color. So I have this medium blue, medium green, and then I have this light blue and a light teal. And let's look a little closer, and you can see I found this multicolored fabric that had the greens and the blues and the teals and everything in it, and it just looked like a really fun, again, sort of in that cool family way to put all of the fabrics together. So I was very pleased with this one. I really love the wrench block. You could also use the center square if you had a really cool fabric that you wanted to cut into a focus. And just for future reference, if you want to make a quilt out of it, if you turn it on point, it gives you a whole different look altogether. Again, you can fussy cut something in the center. Just a fun way. And if you wanted to focus on that, you could do like something fun in the center, put your print on the outside. I mean, it's just a fun little block to have a good time with. So I actually really like how this one turned out. Okay, our block number 4, let's move it over here so you can see it next to the page it's on. Is also from the Farmer's Wife. It's page 211 of the Farmer's Wife. It's the 84 block called The Spool. This one also really fun. So this one I had pink squares and red squares, which were 3 inches that were left over from the temperature quilt. They were just sitting there left over, and I had enough. I actually needed 5 of the reds and 4 of the pinks in order to get this done. So of those 3-inch squares, I took 2 reds and 2 pinks and put them together, and that's how I got my 4 half square triangles. And then I needed 2 pinks for this side and 3 reds right down the center. And since they were 3 inches, I had to trim them down to 2.5 to make the whole thing work. And this just gives you an idea of mixing up your modern blocks with your traditional blocks. You can do that. We're just making blocks out of color. So I really like the idea that we're able to mix these up and make them work. And this is another one of those blocks where it wouldn't hurt you to make them, because they're so simple to do, it wouldn't hurt you to make them in multiple colors so that you can make the most out of your project while we're working on it. All right, our next block, which is block 5 in the group, is in the Farmer's Wife again, page 208. It's their block number 81, and it's called The Snowball. And this one, again, you'll recognize that red color. I used this one in the pixel quilt. The white background is from my temperature quilt. I had 3-inch squares left over. Again, I'm going to sew 2 reds and 2 whites together, and that's going to give me my 2.5-inch half square triangles on the outside. Now, I sewed them as 3-inch squares, not 2 7/8 squares, because I like to use that Clearly Perfect slotted trimmer, which you guys have seen me use before, and that trims the triangles to the size they need to be before they're opened up. So I always want to upsize them just a little bit. So instead of cutting 2 7/8, we're going to cut at 3 in order to make that work. And that's really a much easier cut to make with a quilting ruler than 2 7/8. So it makes no sense to not oversize them a little bit and trim them down. And then I had 1 white square and 4 red squares left that were 3 inches. Of course, those had to be cut down to 2.5 in order to make this work. So as far as blocks go, yet again, another super simple, easy block that you could do. You could make in multiple colors. If you needed to, you could pick a snowball and you could make snowball in 10 colors for the month of March or April, and you'd have your 10 blocks. So again, another really easy block to use to intermingle with others. Also, if you're making a quilt out of it, if you turn this one on point, you get this really cool kind of a mock square and a square. And you can use that center to showcase a fussy cut fabric if you wanted. So that's just a fun block to make, super easy. I really like that one as well. All right, and our last block is this guy right here. And this is another one that came from back to our City Sampler 100 Modern Blocks again, is an inspiration block. So the block is just an inspiration of what we wanted to do. This is the inspiration for it, which is the Tula, page number 48. It's block number 18. And this was just a very simple, 2 little strips together to make 2 blocks, 2 little strips together to make 2 more blocks, put them together. They look great. Everything's great. I love the idea of doing a purple one. So I reached into my purple bin and I found this fabric, this multicolored purple fabric with the metallic in it. And I had 1 strip of that. Now, in order to make this block, each one of these strip sets has to be 2.5 inches wide in order to make this one. And of course, each piece is going to finish at 3.5 because there's only 4 of them. Well, this guy right here that I was very excited to use in this quilt was not 2 inches wide. So I knew one of 2 things was going to happen. In order to use it, I was going to have to make the secondary piece much wider, which changes the design, or I could cut 3 smaller strips and cut them down to size, which changes the design. So I chose to add the 3 smaller strips, add a light to one side and a dark to the other, and go with that. Those are our 6 blocks. Those are the 2 books we used to make those 6 blocks. Now, before I let you go, well, first I want to talk to you about the sponsor of today's video, which is actually me. I'm sponsoring the video, and it's sponsored by our Lake and Leisure Quilt Retreats. I'm only mentioning this because I don't know if you guys know, but here at the lake, here at the studio, 6 times a year, we have a lovely group of people that come and sew with us. Wednesday to Sunday. And it's an all-inclusive resort here. It's our home. We house you here. We feed you here. There are classes you can take. They are all designed to be UFO retreats with a class, if that makes sense. So if you want to take a class, but you want to bring a friend and your friend just wants to sew on their own stuff, that's totally fine. There is no rhyme or reason to it. You can take the class, you can participate in the project, or you cannot participate in the project. We all sew together. There's only 12 of us. That's our capacity here. We have 5 beautiful, luxurious guest rooms here. We have all the food presented to you. You don't have to do anything. You just sew and you get called to the table to eat. There's snacks everywhere. There's drinks everywhere. We have a massage chair. We have a hot tub. In the months that the weather is right, you're welcome to swim here in the lake. We have taken an occasional boat ride. It really just depends on what you want to do. We have our little spool bus that we take to QuiltCon in Raleigh. When it's here in Raleigh in February, we do that. And we just enjoy sewing together, meeting new people, making new friends, and hanging out with me. You're welcome to bring your projects that you're struggling with. I'm here to offer my expertise. You get about 6 hours of time with me at least per day. We have continental breakfast, soup, salad, sandwich, lunch. We do homemade dinner. If you're interested in coming and visiting us here at the lake on Lake Gaston in Littleton, North Carolina, absolutely go to our website at cabinquilters.com, hit the drop-down menu, click on Lake and Leisure Retreats where you can see all the information. Definitely check it out on our website at cabinquilters.com. All right, so let's get back to our blocks in 2025. Let's go back to the book for Tula. So here's Tula's 100 Quilt Blocks Modern book, and inside is her city sampler. Now this is the inspiration for the project that I want to do. If you like something simple and you want to stick to the modern book and that's your jam, this is a really easy guide for how many colors you need. She does a great job of blending the colors, making it really colorful and rainbowish, and really well done for your scraps. And it's a very easy quilt to put together. It's 10 blocks wide by 10 blocks down, uses a very easy stashing and a very easy border. This is pretty, so if you don't want to go to any trouble, any math, any design, you know, you can go with this. It's a pretty simple design, and you can mix and match your modern quilt blocks with your traditional quilt blocks, or if you're a traditional quilter and they're all traditional quilt blocks, this is a great little layout to be able to do a sampler, and it's quite a good idea. Now, I'm a designer, and I have in my brain that I would love to do a colorful quilt, and I would like it to look more like a color wheel. And so a color wheel kind of needs a starting point at the center, and I came up with an idea. So this this designer I have been enthralled with since I met her at Quilt Market, and I have these 2 books and 2 rulers that I haven't used yet. It's dying. I bought right by my sewing machine. I keep looking at them, and I keep getting excited, and then I keep getting torn on to something else. Her name is Robin Ruth. Her company is Robin Ruth Designs. Her name may be something other than Robin Ruth, but her company is Robin Ruth Designs. This is the Fat Robin book and Fat Robin ruler, and the Skinny Robin book and the Skinny Robin ruler, which I haven't even opened. It makes mariner's compasses. Now I'm going to put a link in the description box for these rulers, these books, and also Robin and her website and her videos, because if you check out Robin's videos, it's a pretty easy way to use this ruler to make your mariner's compasses, which are non-paper pieced. I'm very excited to give it a try. So you may see a subsequent video this year where I'm playing with these. But what a fun way to start the center of a quilt that's a color wheel with a beautiful, you know, mariner's compass. And they've got all kinds of different ways to do it. I haven't decided how this is going to go or if it's going to go. But I thought, wouldn't it be fun to have a center medallion in the quilt and work out from there? So I like that idea. It's kind of still marinating in my head. But as we go through the month, in our recaps, you may see me playing with that kind of thing, seeing how I like it. It's also another good way to arrange your blocks. So if you love making these mariner's compasses, you can kind of swirl them around in your quilt and maybe put some colors around it that are the same color. I don't know how it's going to go, but I wanted to inspire you with what I'm being inspired by right now. So that's really it. So I'll put the link in the description for that. And then also what happens, now I heard a couple of comments. People were really excited about doing the 100 blocks in 2025. And some of them told me, because I showed you probably 8 or 9 books that had multiple sizes that you could get these blocks some inspiration out of. And one of the comments was, too many choices. So I was like, okay, yeah, I can see that. So if it's too many choices, just pick a book or pick a block, like, you know, one of these easy ones, and make multiple colors out of it, and don't get overwhelmed by the many choices. But if you're one of those people that likes choice and likes to try new things, and this is a great time to try something you've never tried before, especially if you're a beginner. Get out of your comfort zone, give it a shot. If you're a traditional quilter and you want to go modern, or you're a modern quilter and you want to go traditional, you know, play with that. And because of that, there may be things in your studio right now that you bought that you don't know why you bought them and you haven't used them. And I came across 3 more in my studio, so I wanted to share this with you. So I apologize in advance to the people who thought I gave you too many choices last time. I understand. Look away. Okay. So I found this guy in my stash called the Quilt Builder card deck. And very similar to the books that I showed you before, you pull out a card, it's got a pattern on the back. On the front of the card, it has multiple sizes to cut the pieces to make it. This one, 6, 8, 10, and 12 inch. And also, what I like about this one is it does big blocks too. So the last one on the end is a 36-inch block. Now, why would you need to make a 36-inch block? Because sometimes we need to make a baby quilt, and we have an idea but can't quite get it together. This is a very quick and easy way to make a really nice, lovely baby quilt in the colors that your person that you need to make it for, or just something small, or some charity type work out of your fabric scraps. And it's a great way to do some value type quilting. So it shows you what to cut to do like a 36-inch block as well. This one is a really good tool. I'll put a link in the description box. And then the last 2 that I found, which are handy because they're packable. All right, let's say you want to go to your friend's house and she has all the scraps and you just want to kind of sneak some parts out to make your own blocks. This guy right here is a quick and easy block tool. This has 102 rotary cut block designs in it. Same thing. The little chart right here tells you what to cut for each size. This one goes up to a 15-inch block. They all have different sizes. They're in the front, shows you all the different blocks you can make, both sides of this. And so that you know, one side has one set of blocks, the other side has the other set of blocks. So this one, quick and easy block tool, 102 rotary cut designs. I'll put the link in the description box for that. And then the Ladies Art Company block tool, same thing. This one has 160 rotary cut designs in it. I use their color tool all the time, so same company, but there you go. You can look at the blocks, or you can open the thing up, fan it out, and just pick one. It's got blocks on both sides. Same little thing, little chart that tells you what to cut in the different sizes. So, so for those of you who didn't need any more inspiration because you were already full, so sorry, told you to look away. For those of you who need even more inspiration, I'm telling you, somewhere in your stash, you probably have all this stuff if you're not a brand new quilter. So I'm just reminding you that it's there. Go find it in your drawer or your cabinet, or dust it off the bookshelf and get it out and use it. But otherwise, I think I've given you lots and lots of inspiration to continue on to make your blocks. Definitely come to the web at cabinquilters.com. Check me out. Find the information on the retreats. And let's keep on trucking. And I know I've got to make 4 more blocks in order to catch up. But anyway, take some advice, you know, do new stuff, do old stuff, make multiple colors, doesn't really matter. I'm going to be back here again in April, and we're going to continue on with our 100 blocks in 2025 series. I hope you're enjoying it. Until next time, happy quilting.